Alter your points of view, change your perception, always keep it moving. Interlinking, closely connected, reflecting mirror images. Scratch away the surface, getting deep, contagious kind of rhythm, even feel it. Feel it when you sleep, excavating, digging in the crates, archaeology.
Hi guys, my name is Mandie Missledz and welcome to my second YouTube tutorial. This time I'm going to be talking about how I go about working with remix stems. I've had a couple of people ask me to cover that and I thought it would be fitting just because I have recently finished a new remix. So Sofa Sound put out a remix competition, I think it was last month, for DLR Script and Focus Perception. Amazing track, yeah, big ups to those guys for the opportunity. And I had a go of it the other week. I was in a bit of sort of a writer's block period, and I find that doing remixes can kind of snap you out of that, so that is always a good strategy. So I'll get straight into it. Pretty much what I do, you obviously need to download the stems, export them all into your DAW, check which key the track is in, figure out whether you want to keep it in that key, and if you don't, you'll have to figure out how many semitones you need to pitch up or down the samples that you want to use so that they fit in with the track. Then I'll go through all of the stems and I'll pick out the ones that I like or the ones that I think I want to use or have potential, and I delete the others. And a good thing to do at this point is to think about what your strengths are, what you think you can bring to the remix. So for me, I think that percussion and drums are my strength. It's something that I've sort of always felt more comfortable with production. So I usually take out most of or all of the drum stems that are in the pack. You've got to sort of think about it as it's a remix, so you need to keep some kind of key feature in there. For tracks with vocals, that's quite easy because you can kind of just keep the vocal in there. You could probably take everything else out if you wanted to, but I think it is good to keep like a few key elements in there and think about how you can use those but in a different way. And you want it to still have your sound, so that's kind of thinking back to what your strengths are, what you can bring to that remix. So like I said before, the first thing that I do is go through the stems and pick out what I want to keep, what I want to get rid of. So for this remix, I took out most of the drums, like I said before. I put in a break and as like a layer, and then sidechain that with my kick and my snare, and that just kind of gives it a little bit more energy and a little bit more sparkle after all of the other percussive elements are in there. I've got a kick in there, I've got a drum fill, and you'll notice that these say Sunglass Hut, which is a track that I am currently working on. I think it's actually a collab, but need to speak to the other person about that. But yeah, that's a good point actually to raise. It is worth using stuff from other tracks, so it can make things a lot quicker. Like it can make your workflow a lot quicker if you've got things sitting there already ready to go. So I had a drum fill from that. I used some hats, and you can see I've got like 3. Well, this says hat, but I don't think it's not really a hat. It's kind of like a ticking sound. And I've got my snare layer, and then I've used 2 of the, this is kind of a shaker layer, I should have put a shaker there, a shaker layer, and then an open hat layer from the Perception sample pack. Then I've got my sub bass. So I created this using a patch in Serum that I'd made for another track, and then I just edited it a little bit to make it something unique and new. So I've used that, and I made sure when I made that it had a lot of frequency range and dynamics, so I could take out a sub-harmonic in there, and I also made a mid-range bass from that with a bit of distortion and other processing. Then I've got some effects layers. I think I created that effects layer from that bass patch actually as well. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it looks like it because it's a free serum file. I've used an effects, and I've chopped out a little bit of something from the Perception sample pack as a drum, to use as a drum fill. I've used part of the lead from the sample pack, and what I did with this lead, or this riff, they called it main riff, I put that into Ableton Sampler, and then I played around with my MIDI keyboard, playing around with different keys, and pitching it up and down, doing some automation, and I came out with two variations of that, so that layer and that layer. So I'll just quickly play a little bit of it so it's not just me talking. So that's part of it, and then I created I'm pretty sure they're from the same thing. Then I've used a percussive sort of bit from the sample pack. That I didn't use, that was from my test before. But this is good to sort of talk about this next track here. So this is the full stem that was in the sample pack, which is their mids and stabs. So what I've done with that is I've listened to the whole thing, I've taken out little bits, and I've created my own little kind of bass grooves from it. So you've got like so some really cool sounds in there, and then I've chopped it up and made some of my own little grooves. I've made a couple there, and then just like taken out little individual hits of that, and yeah, tried to sort of put make just variations of it. I've took the pad and I've transposed that down by 25 semitones, which is just over 2 octaves. I did make the track in the same key, I'm pretty sure, as the original, so I don't know why like 25 semitones is over 2 octaves, so I'm not sure, but it fits. So sometimes it's really good, well, it is always really good to do things by ear as well, because sometimes something can fit and it's not meant to. I've also chopped up just this little bit here, and I've reversed the arrangement of that, and then I also created like that. I don't know if I might have pitched one of them, I'm not sure. Then I've used an effects, another pad from the sample pack, added my own riser, added a pad. The vocal I've chopped up a lot, I didn't have it really in the same place as the original, and then I've added like a echo and reverb layer. I don't know why that says delay, just ignore that. I don't have a lot of experience working with vocals, but if I'm using like little snippets of them, I do like to work with echo, delay and reverb a lot. You can try out working with some distortion with it as well. It's good to think outside the box, like play around with some of your plugins. You might come up with something really cool and complete like nothing like what you'd thought you would come up with, so that's always good. So to recap, the main things that I do: put all my stems in, have a listen through them, pick out the ones that I think I'd like to use, delete the ones I don't want to use, think about your strengths, what you can bring to it, and then when you're playing around with the stems, think about different ways that you can manipulate them. So some of the things that I do are chopping them up, rearranging them, resampling, using Ableton Sampler with my MIDI keyboard, pitching things up and down and seeing how that sounds, changing the position and arrangement of things. I think I already said that. And then using some things from tracks I've already made. You can make new sounds to go in there as well. I kind of just did this. I did this in a day, so it was kind of something that I just wanted to smash out. So I wanted to use stuff that I already had there that was good to go. But then you can edit that and amend that to make it unique to this particular track or remix. So I hope that's been helpful. I have a little activity for anyone that would like to have a go at a remix. I'm going to be putting up some remix stems for one of my tracks, Unjust, for anyone that would like to have a go. So I'll just quickly play a little bit of that for you, for those who don't know the track. You get the idea. So what I'm going to do is put a link in the comments to the original track, Perception. I'll put a link in the comments to my remix for anyone who would like to have a listen, and then I'm also going to put a link to my track Unjust and the remix and the stems if you'd like to have a go at remixing it. If you do, please send me a copy. I would love to hear what you do with it. And if you'd like to put it up on SoundCloud, just totally fine with that. Just make sure it's finished. And yeah, anyway, I hope that's been helpful. Please leave a comment or a like, or give it a share if you did find it helpful. And if you have any suggestions for things that you'd like me to cover, please feel free to leave them there too. All right, thanks guys, take care, bye.